everybody. Our next guest has spent his career writing about the culinary scene in the prairies. And today, he's highlighting some of his favorite cost-saving ingredients from the Canadian region.
And here with the winter recipes inspired by the prairies is food writer Dan Clapson. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Okay, so a couple things before we get started. First of all, I got to shout out all my people in Saskatoon. I lived in Saskatchewan for a while. Hi, everybody. Hi, Regina. Hi, Saskatoon. And the second thing is, I already told Jess she's asking all the questions because this food smells so good. I'm just going to be eating. So I'm going to ask you my first and only question, which is, how can ingredients from the prairies help us save money?
Yeah.
And now I'm going to start eating.
So I think it's just important to know what grows across the country. We have so many wonderful commodities here. And in the prairies, as I'm sure you would know, we have a ton of things like chickpeas, lentils, and pulses, all of which are economical to buy, but also really good for you and delicious.
I didn't know they grew them at such a great rate.
Oh, they do.
It's huge.
It's like our biggest claim to fame, I would say.
My goodness. So we're starting with Alberta.
Yes.
How did that province inspire your first dish?
Should we eat now?
Yes, absolutely. Dive right in. We're doing a winter spice goulash here. And when you think of Alberta, I think when you're thinking food in Alberta, you think of beef.
Yeah.
We are the epicenter of Canadian beef. Canadian beef is viewed as one of the most sought-after proteins in the world. So I would be remiss to not use beef in a stew. Delicious goulash-style stew today.
All right, so what makes this cost-saving a recipe?
So when you use stewing cuts of beef, it's gonna be a lot more economical than purchasing steak. So this time of year, trying to make your dollar stretch, I feel like stews you can impart so much more flavor into them as well. So stewing cuts can go a long way if you have the time to cook them.
I just like to point out that I can cut this beef with a spoon. So bless you, sir. This is
very tender. Thank you.
But goulash feels like one of those dishes that every Eastern European mama or papa has a very specific recipe for.
Yes.
What, in your mind, goes into making a really good one?
So a classic goulash, I like putting winter spices in there. So you think of the spices that would be incorporated into something like a pumpkin pie. We're thinking like cloves or allspice and cinnamon, bay leaf, all those things that slow cook in a stew like this will have, well, you can smell it here, right?
Yeah.
They can't smell,
incredible.
but it smells wonderful. So that adds that kind of coziness to the dish, I think.
Oh my God, it's so good.
All right, so our next dish is inspired by Manitoba. Shout out to Winterpeg. So talk to us about this next one.
So this dish, drawing inspiration from Manitoba, I thought I would do a risotto-style dish using sunflower seeds and wheat berries. So, yeah, sunflower seeds
Another hit.
They grow a lot in Manitoba. So if you're buying like a bag of Spits or from a different city, they're probably grown in Manitoba, which I think is kind of neat. But you can also substitute rice for sunflower seeds in risotto-style dishes, so they cook at the same time. And there's also a decent amount of protein in them too. So again, if you're looking to make your dollar stretch, it's a good addition.
That's fantastic.
It's
It feels
good.
so hearty.
It's, very unique.
Is this vegetarian?
This is vegetarian, yes, and you could easily adapt to vegan if you wanted, or again, if you want to add in some like secret ingredients, which I do love.
What is it? I'm tasting
what is
something I can't pinpoint.
There's actually beef jerky in here. The people might think is weird, but again, when you're looking for cost-saving ingredients that impart a lot of flavor, beef jerky has so much smokiness to it that a little bit chopped up, when it slow cooks in a dish like this, it ends up tasting a lot like a little delicious bacon.
So is the key to slow cooking the beef?
They don't know.
Is the key to slow cooking the beef jerky?
Yes, I mean, if you want to be real chefy, which I'm not a chef, you could like grate it on top to finish, so it's kind of like airy, like a little bit of finished cheese.
That's a good idea.
Which sounds kind of weird to do, but it tastes good, I swear to God.
And I understand you like this when you're hosting a party, which, by the way, we're waiting for an invite, Dan.
Anytime. So the reason why I like to cook risotto for parties is because it's scalable. So you can cook it for 2 people or 10, and it's not that much effort. You just need a bigger pan, so that's why I love it.
Now, tell us about your hack for turning any leftovers that you may or may not have into brunch the next day.
This is fun too. So leftover risotto, you can mix with a bit of egg and cheese and fry it like almost like a latke in a pan.
Okay.
Yeah, or just leave the egg out, fry it up, and then top it with a fried egg. So a really nice brunch dish. And I'm all for minimal effort, maximum impressions. So if I have leftover dinner ingredients, why not use them for brunch?
I love this idea. So the next one is inspired by the lovely province of Saskatchewan.
Yes.
So tell us.
So I grew up in Saskatchewan, Saskatoon,
Shout out.
yes. And a lot of people don't know that the majority of the world's lentils are grown in Saskatchewan.
I did not
which
know
is
that.
kind of crazy. Yes, it's
They
true.
already talked about the Rough Riders when I was out there. Okay,
which we do love too. But yeah, if you buy a bag of lentils in any major city in the world, they probably are from a farm outside of like Regina or Saskatoon.
That's
or Weyburn.
incredible.
Yeah, it's really, really neat.
First of all, this is delicious. I have to mention that. But besides using lentils, what else makes this an affordable meal?
I like to put in farmer sausage in here or kielbasa. So again, farmer sausage, somewhat like the beef jerky hack. There is a lot of salt and smokiness and flavor in there. So when you're slow cooking a dish, dish, like a cassoulet style dish here. Again, it can impart so much flavor into the pulses, like the lentils.
Listen,
Oh my God,
what other ingredient is in here? Because I'm eating this and I can taste the kielbasa, I can taste the lentils. What else? Something special.
Rutabaga. I feel bad for rutabaga.
You're right.
It never gets the respect
I
it deserves.
never use a
So-
rutabaga in anything.
I know, and it's cheap, probably because no one likes it, but, but it's widely
one's buying it?
accessible. It's in season,
Yeah.
basically year-round. It's a cellared vegetable, and I like the almost bitterness it adds to a dish. When you want a dish that tastes full-rounded, you want all those flavors, right? Like sweet, salty, bitter. You want it all together, and I think rutabaga offers that in like a cassoulet-style dish like this,
Well,
or
it's,
soup. Or
you hit it out of the park. It's just
Thank you.
gorgeous. So last up, you
Yes.
brought dessert.
Yes, I
And you
did.
brought a Panacotta.
Yes.
So how was this inspired by the prairies?
So this dessert, I'm going to throw to Saskatoon again. These are reconstituted dried Saskatoon berries. So.
The Saskatoon berry,
Yes. So it's a misconception that Saskatoon, there's actually more Saskatoon berries that grow in Alberta than Saskatchewan.
This is
but Saskatoon was named after the berry. So anyway, they grow all through Western Canada. I cooked this down with a bit of fruit wine. I wouldn't recommend drinking fruit wine, but sometimes it's... Typically, there are some good options out there.
What a great, if you get one as a gift.
Exactly. You can cook it down with berries, and again, you end up with a delicious sauce for Panacotta. Panacotta is an easy dessert as well, I think.
Easy?
I think so.
I don't know if it is. Or at least for me, the ones I've tried have been kind of disastrous.
Okay.
This is maybe the best one I've ever tasted. And your secret ingredient, I'm blown away.
It's
You
sour
say it.
cream.
Sour cream. Sour cream.
Well, I feel like sour cream is ubiquitous to the prairie food scene because of our, Eastern European, Central European populations we have there. Sour cream is with pierogies, with kielbasa, so why not use it in dessert? It's also a widely accessible ingredient, adds a lot of tang and just a slightly different texture on a traditional panna-cotta.
The texture's gorgeous.
Thank you.
All right, Dan, I gotta call you out because I'm eating this and it's delicious, but apparently you said you're not good at making desserts. Sir, I don't think so. We gotta talk about that.
Okay, let's clarify. I don't like making desserts, so I
Okay.
go for the easiest option. Again, minimal effort, maximum impressions.
Okay.
And panna-cotta to me is that my biggest tip for panna-cotta is just follow the recipe to a T, and you'll never be disappointed.
It's my fault.
And you end up with a beautiful texture that's, creamy and delicious. And you can put whatever you want on top of it, which is nice. So a blank canvas dessert to get creative with.
And it's just so impressive. If I were at a dinner little gathering and got this, I'd be filled with joy.
feels like a
you
restaurant
have
already.
done for us today.
thank you.
You've brought us joy. Just incredible.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for sharing these delicious prairie dishes with us. Now, hey you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.